Yo, what's up guys? No Policies here. And today, we're here with Csml. Season X Week 2 versus the Tampa Tyranitar, coached by Sullry. Coming off a pretty big loss last week, 0-4, or that is the differential that we lost by. So we now are currently 0-1. So, knowing that, I definitely wanted to go into this week prepping a lot harder. Wanted to really kind of drive certain things and really kind of have a game plan going into it. So, looking at the team, this is a team that I brought for this week. Pretty interesting. I'm liking a lot of the sets here. I did a lot of changing around of mons, moves. Just in general, it was a very large process. So hopefully it will pay off in the end. But we have a little bit of a theme going. I don't know if I mentioned that in the last video. I've named my Pokemon after countries. And so let's just go over it. First up, we have Germany, the Thunderistarian with Titanium Z, 4 moves, Modest Nature, 184 speed, 72 speed, or 72 HP. 184 speed is there to outspeed a speed creeping Hydreigon and Darmanitan. Trying to speed creep my Necrozma, which is base 79. Not really much to say about that there. It's just kind of the speed I think will be invested because I think power will be prioritized over speed just because of my kind of weird speed tiers. We are 4 attacks, HP flying, which is really good for things on his team like Chestnut. I probably should go over the mons he has, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. I mean, I guess it does kind of matter. So basically what I'm going to get into this is that Thunderistarian is kind of my breaker this match. It basically comes in, gets a lot of damage off, and it can just potentially just put in a lot of holes to a lot of different Pokemon. Z Focus Blast is there for mostly Mega Aggron and Hydreigon, or just stuff I don't want to miss, and just getting a bunch of damage off onto bulky things like AV Raikou, I think is a big threat against this set. I think it's going to be the main switch-in, too. I actually wasn't really prepared for Raikou immediately, but because I thought it had kind of bad matchup, but I realized, oh wait, AV Raikou actually is kind of annoying for my team to deal with. So I was like, okay, that's kind of annoying, but we don't really have much for it. I think Hidden Power Flying is really nice because it does allow us to do a lot against Chestnut and such. Actually, Oka's Chestnut. And then Grass Knot is there for the Palossand because I do think you will bring the Palossand. Palossand is kind of a threat to my team, so I do want to have something to hit it, especially on this set. So, next up we have USA the Rhydon with Eviolite, a lot of HP, max HP, 16 attack, Adamant Nature for maximum damage on things like Tornadostarian, Hydreigon, just in general a lot of stuff that I would like to hit very hard. 1v1 Aggron better. 144 Spadef because that allows me to take on things like Hydreigon and special attackers pretty well, as well as Palossand. And then 96 speed because this does allow me to outspeed about 20 speed Aggron. Hopefully he doesn't speed creep too much. If we can, I would like to get some damage off on that thing so that it can't hit me before I hit it. Rocket Earthquake, Stealth Rock, Stone Edge, and Swords Dance. Basically, the only 2 moves that I will be clicking will be Earthquake and Stone Edge and Stealth Rocks. Stealth Rocks if they're not already on the field, or I've gotten rid of them, or my opponent has gotten rid of them, or trying to get damage off with Earthquake and Stone Edge. He's pretty Edgequake leak. Yes, he has things like Alomola, but I highly doubt he brings Alomola. Alomola has horrible matchup this game. If he does bring it, I can very easily deal with it, unless he very well plays around certain mons. But Stone Edge Earthquake is going to be a very good combination. Stone Edge allows me to hit things like Torn. Earthquake hits things like Aggron. Overall is very good. Raquinid is as well, because I cannot speed that thing unless it's very speed invested and do a lot to basically killing it with Stone Edge. So it just makes a difference between a lot of damage. Next we have Siberia the Necrozma. A very interesting set, one that I'm really kind of excited about. Not as exciting as my old set, which was, I'm not going to reveal because I might want to run it another week. But it's Weakness Policy with Rock Polish. Since Prism Armor does do less with super effective hits, if I do get hit super effectively, I can I do have that option to take those special or super effective hits and get the weakness policy boost. And with the rock polish up, I kind of just sweep his team from there. He has no real switch into +2 Photon Geyser, other than say Hydreigon or Aggron, and Aggron doesn't appreciate Heat Wave, and then Hydreigon doesn't appreciate Dark Pulse. So if there's no Hydreigon on the field, no Aggron on the field, or maybe he just doesn't bring either of them, or just maybe one of them, then I can kind of just click Photon Geyser. It's just really going to be the main form of stat I was going to be clicking, considering things like Psyshock for both more PP and to hit things like AV Raikou. But in the end, I think Photon Geyser just hits so hard no matter what switches in. So next we have China, the Noivern. With Frisk, because I like being able to get that ability to see my opponent's item. Choice Scarf is nice because it allows me to revenge kill basically anything that comes across. So 172 speed with Modest Nature allows me to outspeed a timid Choice Scarf Hydreigon. If he does decide to bring like Choice Scarf Tornadus, that would be a little bit annoying, but he also loses a lot of power in that sense, and he's locked in. So that won't be as threatening either. I think something like Life Orb or AV would be probably the most threatening version of Torn. And then Draco, Defog, U-Turn, Dragon Pulse. Most of the time I'm going to be clicking Draco or Dragon Pulse, but if there's hazards on the field, especially Sticky Webs from Araquanid, Defog will be very, very helpful. As well as U-Turn, getting a momentum on things such as Aggron, if I predict to switch into that. Or maybe I brought this thing in on a double. I can U-Turn out in an unfavorable matchup. And then Dragon Pulse is really nice because in the late game, if there are a lot of mons still on the field and I don't really have that many options to switch, I can kind of just go for Dragon Pulse and get a lot of damage off, but not lower my special attack, which is really nice because his team is really low in the end game, and I don't really want to go for Draco, as my Draco will lose my special attack over time. Dragon Pulse is another alternative. Air Slash would be kind of cool, but at the same time, these things like Raikou, and while it does hit Chestnut and Araquanid, Air Slash is really just not going to be clicked because of how many resists he has to it. Next up, we have Tapu Bulu with the Assault Vest, Max HP, Impish Nature, Force Speed, and Max Attack. Hornleech Nature's Madness, Stone Edge, and Superpower hits the entirety of his team super effectively, barring the Chestnut, but Chestnut doesn't really appreciate switching into a Nature's Madness, even if he's like Leech Seed and like Leftovers or something like that, or with Grassy Terrain Recovery. Nature's Madness will be a very good option, as it does hit Aggron and Chestnut, which depending on his sets, Chestnut does get recovery, but unless Aggron is running Rest, he cannot recover that off, barring with the Grassy Terrain Recovery. Hornleech is kind of going to be really my safest bet over really the most safest bet that I have, because Hornleech really just does a lot to anything that wants to switch in. It is really just good to get a lot of damage off on really whatever wants to switch in. So I think that's the best part about Hornleech. Stone Edge is also good as well because it allows me to hit things like Araquanid or Tornadus. I will probably click Hornleech on Araquanid, but Stone Edge is really nice because it does allow me to kill Tornadus, so that's really nice. Superpower is there for really Aggron and Hydreigon. Aggron really won't be using Superpower unless it's very, very low. To the point where it dies to at 25-30%. If it's around that range of HP, then I think it would be worth to just go for Superpower. And our final mod is going to be Australia, the Houndoom Mega with Flash Fire, because that does allow, or doesn't allow, but it kind of forces the Darmanitan to be more careful about just spamming Flare Blitz. Flare Blitz spam doesn't really do that well against my team. I think Darmanitan causes a lot of predictions, but I think it's still very, very threatening to my team if he can get rid of the main three things that resist it, being Houndoom and Aggron, or not Aggron, Rhydon, the main two answers to it. But, you know, if he tries to play the prediction game, I think Choice Scarf is his best option, but if he goes for something like Earthquake and I switch into something like Thunderous or Tapu Bulu, he's kind of in a very bad situation because he can't really switch, or he can, yes, he's forced to switch if he wants to save his Darmanitan. So I think Mega Houndoom really kind of prevents that. Modest Nature, because we can still outspeed Hydreigon, Timid Nature, so that's really nice. And while I could speed tie the Raikou if I was max speed, I do really kind of want to get a lot of damage off. I'd rather have damage over speed because I don't think speed is that important. Dark Pulse hits really things pretty hard, especially things like Palisand. It's really nice for that. I do expect something like a Colbur Berry. As something like HP Ice, can 2 KO something like a regular, no really HP invested Hydreigon. As Flamethrower is kind of be my main form of stab, and just kind of spamming that out. Things like Aggron, Torn, really nothing really wants to take a Flamethrower. The only thing that could take it would be potentially a Alomomola, which I don't think he'll bring, or Hydreigon, which I have HP Ice for. And then Destiny Bond is there just to kind of revenge kill, or just kill something off. My Houndoom's low, can't really get much use out of it anymore. It's kind of useless at that point. It's a low point of HP, and there's a Pokemon on the other side of the field that I could do kind of want to get rid of, maybe like a Alomomola or something. Destiny Bond could be very, very nice in that scenario. So let's get to the actual battle. So let's move this up, and as you can see immediately, he does not bring a lot of the threats that were immediately very threatening to me. Hydreigon and Darmanitan not being there is a huge sigh of relief. Silvally is also nice not to see because he did have a Silvally, and him not having Silvally is very good because it doesn't mean I have to predict what kind of type it is. I would predict it to be Fairy if he did bring Silvally, but you never know, just because it's kind of a really good answer to something like Noivern, which after Aggron goes down is kind of a threat to his team. So looking at this, I was like, okay, he doesn't really match up. All of his potential leads don't really match up well against Thundurus. I'm predicting some kind of like Araquanid, Palossand, or Aggron lead, but he could lead the other three. I could really see anything leading, and Thundurus just matched up well against anything that was going to lead. So I'm just going to lead off with Thundurus, as he is going to lead off with his Tornadus, which is really good for me because he can't really do much other than Icy Wind or Sub-Zero Slammer. So I can just go for 3 Thunderbolt, but I was thinking, like, you know, if he does go into the Chestnut, he wouldn't go straight Aggron because Aggron doesn't want to get weakened. So I was like, okay, I probably should have thought Raikou was switching in. I was thinking have a Volt Switch on this thing, but then I get walled by Chestnut. He's going to go into his Raikou, as I am just going to go for the HP Flying, because I did kind of predict a Chestnut or Palossand switch in, and it does put Palossand in range of a Grass Knot, so I thought it was a pretty no drawback play. So I'm going to go into Rhydon, predicting just kind of any attack, but he's going to go for the HP Ice. Pretty obvious there, but I didn't really have another play because I didn't want to take like a Thunderbolt on any of my Pokemon. So I'm just going to get my Rocks here. I didn't really care what he was going to switch in. I just wanted to get my Rocks, as Rocks would be very good in like weakening a lot of his team, like Torn and Araquanid. So I can't really stay in here. Going to go into Thundurus, predicting either one of his stabs, but he's going to go for the Stone Edge here. Kind of catch me off guard and bring my Thundurus very, very low. So that was kind of unfortunate for me. I was like, wow, good play on Sullry's part. So I'm basically forced to switch here into my Bulu, take any hit from the thing, barring Poison Jab, and kind of fire off attacks, just kind of take a hit, something like that. See what its set is. I can go into Palossand, so this is actually going to work out really well for me, because I can just go fire off the Horn Leech here. I'm going to go into his Tornadus, and unfortunately here, I'm going to get a crit, and that crit puts him in a very low point of health, to the point where after Life Orb damage, he's going to be almost dead at that point. Luckily for him, he does have Regenerator, but I'm going to frisk the Life Orb. I did say he was Life Orb Recoil, so he's going to over the U-turn, become very, very low with that, and after Rocks, he's really going to be just still at a very low point of health, only getting about 6% back each turn. So he's going to go into the Raikou. I believe I just go for U-turn here. Like I said, if I'm in an unfavorable matchup, U-turn is going to be my play of choice. Just going to go for the U-turn. Does a little chunk, kind of shows that he's kind of defensive, not really, but I'm going to go into my Bulu. HPS, again, is very common, but I cannot risk my Houndoom. It is at full, and being at full is very important, since Bulu can kind of just recover that back with Horn Leech. I did predict the Chestnut to switch in here, because it was kind of the most obvious switch he could make at that point. He's just going to go for a Volt Switch. I predicted the Chestnut. Will I get it right? I go for the Nature's Madness here. He's going to go into his Chestnut, so I do make the play right. Get a very good amount of HP down with that Chestnut. So Chestnut is going to be very, very low. So getting that weakened is very nice, because it allows things like Houndoom to kind of freely just click Flamethrower. Bulu to be in a lot better point, and this shows that he basically has to click Poison Jab here. Gonna go into my Noivern, found out he's Miracle Seed, so he deems to be more offensive variant of Chestnut. He's gonna go for Poison Jab. He could have gone for Stone Edge there, but But, I mean, Poison Jab was kind of no drawback. Hits everything but Rhydon, which, why would I switch in Rhydon? I'm going to go for Draco here, but I am, unfortunately, going to miss here. So it does kind of make up for that crit. I think the crit didn't really matter as much because his Tauren is still alive, but getting Raikou weakened is very, very pivotal. And I'm going to get super double screwed here because he's actually going to crit me with HP Ice. Bring Rhydon very low. I didn't really need Rhydon in this match because Darmanitan was here, but it would have been very, very nice to kind of deal with that Raikou. As I'm going to pull the double into Houndoom, predicting either another HP Ice or him to go into something like Chestnut. As I do get the play right, and I am able to just kind of fire off a Flamethrower here in Mega Form. As he goes into his Araquanid, I was thinking that, but I didn't really have another good play to go for, so I'm going to go for Flamethrower. This is a very minimal amount, but this does kind of put me in a bad spot because he is able to get up his Sticky Webs at this point or just spam Liquidation, so I'm basically forced to go into Tapu Bulu here. Potentially take a predicted Poison Jab as well. Could be kind of bad, but he's just going to go for a Sticky Webs here, which will be the best case scenario for me because I don't take any damage on Bulu. Just kind of fire off a Hornleech here. As, like I said, he doesn't really have a switch-in. I believe Chestnut dies to Hornleech plus Superpower, so I'm not really too worried about that. As I'm just going to go for Hornleech, deal a tremendous amount to this Araquanid, as it goes for Poison Jab, but you can see that does very, very little. It doesn't even 2 KO. That may have been a low roll, but depending on his set, but he probably wasn't that invested considering how little that Hornleech did. Aggron's going to come out here. I'm very, very okay with just clicking Hornleech again. Getting HP back, getting this Aggron weakened is very, very nice for my team. Grassy Terrain is going to heal him up a little bit, which is kind of unfortunate, but I basically know he's going to go for Heavy Slam here, and I can do a lot of damage with Mega Houndoom. So I'm just going to switch and make the double into my Mega Houndoom, predicting the Heavy Slam to come out here. If you went for Earthquake, good play, but I think going just into Houndoom is nice, because even with Sticky Webs, I still outspeed unless he's like very, very fast. Unless he's Jolly Max Speed Aggron, he will not outspeed my Houndoom. So I'm going to just bring in my Houndoom, can go for Flamethrower here. If he goes in sacks, he's going to protect here, so getting damage. It wouldn't kill, but I think Houndoom being able to just get a lot of damage off. I didn't want to risk D-Bond because I didn't want to reveal that at this point, because, you know, if he didn't have ground coverage or just think to hit my Houndoom, that would have been good. But he doesn't want to get rid of his Aggron. He wants to keep it healthy. Smart man. Going to sack off his Araquanid, and I'm just going to kill it with Houndoom. So we're going to get our first kill of the match, and first kill for Mega Houndoom of the season, which is really nice because I do like having that. And he's just going to kind of come in with his Chestnut and kind of just force me out. This does tell me that he's Jolly, though, which is really good to know because he would not have risked, because if I was max speed and he wasn't Jolly, like I was not, I was modest. So he basically knew, or he didn't know that I was modest at this point, because I've only gone for Flamethrower, which I guess did 17 to Araquanid, so he may have known I was modest, but this does tell me he's at least speed invested, so he's not that bulk invested. So I can go into Noivern, force him out with the potential Air Slash, I think, or Hurricane. I think he thought I was Specs because I have not revealed the move, which is kind of good because Raikou taking that damage would have revealed if I was Specs or Scarf. I'm just going to go for default, get rid of these webs, as I really do not want to deal with webs. This does give him a chance to get up his rocks, but luckily for me, he's going to go for the Heavy Slam, just trying to get some damage off on Noivern, as I go into Necrozma, predicting the Heavy Slam / rocks. And this is kind of going to be an opportunity to kind of just weaken this Aggron and deal a tremendous amount of damage with Heat Wave. That is going to be a really nice chunk, and that will allow me to, while he does Toxic me, does put his Aggron in range of another Heat Wave and puts him at a very low point of health. So this puts me in a very good spot. Even if he switches out into what he will switch out into Palossand, I can very easily just go for another Heat Wave and to KO this with the Heat Wave plus Photon Geyser. Would have been unfortunate if I had not been able to take, or if I had missed that Heat Wave, but if he'd gone for something like Shadow Ball, that would have been good, because I could have gotten that weakness policy boost. So that's going to be that. I'm going to take out the Palossand, Necrozma, getting its first kill as well of the season. And Yeah, so he's going to bring in his Torn. If he missed here, that would have been very good, so that's kind of why I left in my Necrozma, even though it does kind of do a lot. If he missed the Hurricane there, I would have been able to take out his Tornadus, and he would basically just lost from there. So I was willing to take that risk. I didn't really need Necrozma that much. I still have ways to deal with things like Chestnut, and I have Thunderous around to take it out immediately. So I'm going to bring in my Noivern. Do predict, just kind of go for Dragon Pulse, because I believe Aggron is in range of 2 more Dragon Pulses if he switches in. And Raikou can't really take Dragon Pulses that well. So he's going to sack off his Chestnut. So with Chestnut gone, I really have no need for Thunderous anymore. I can kind of just sack that thing off whenever I need to. And that'll be the thing I need to do, because he's going to go into his Raikou and force me out with the HP Ice. I think he thought I was going to go into his Bulu when I to take the potential HP Ice, or just move from that, and he didn't want to go for Volt Switch because he didn't want to give my Thunderous more HP, which is kind of what I was banking off of. But I'm going to stay in with Thunderous. He's forced to switch out back into his Raikou because he doesn't know my set. For all he knows, I could be Scarf Thunderous. I'm going to go for Thunderbolt and just sack off my Thunderous. I will pause it here for very briefly. This is kind of the only play I kind of regret, because it doesn't really affect the match, as you'll see, but going for Z Focus Blast here would have just been a lot better, at least for a certain reason. I think that was kind of my only regret of the match. I think I played this game pretty well to this point. As he's going to reveal Quick Attack, actually, I think this works in my favor. But I think he just thought I was Scarf, which I definitely wasn't. I was Titanium. So I'm going to bring Bulu out. He's forced to switch into his Aggron. Could have made the prediction to just go for like Superpower or something, but I think for Horn Leech was just my best play. If he did want to kind of weaken my Bulu, I could just get HP back. So I mean, this I think was just the safe play. As little as that does, I'm still fine with just getting a little bit of chip on Aggron. Even after Protect and such, he's only getting back roughly around where he was before. So he's going to Protect here. Or no, he goes into Torn, because I'm going to go for the Superpower. Just kind of trying to kill the Aggron off. I probably should have gone for Horn Leech again, because, you know, he would have protected anyway, and I guess maybe if he didn't protect. I think I was predicting him not protecting there. He's going to Hurricane and miss as I go for Stone Edge, and I'm going to actually, well, I'll go the Stone Edge and kind of explain my thought process here. So I was doing the calcs, and I believe a plus speed minus defense nature, he would have died there to Stone Edge, or it would have done a lot depending on how much like HP he had. But -1 attack if he's no HP, no defense investment, which I think he was, but I'm not sure on that. Stone Edge did a min of like 59, so I was thinking, okay, I can live a Hurricane too. I had a very good shot of living a Hurricane from this point of health. It was kind of like more in my favor, but it was kind of 50-50. And being able to just kill Torn there, like, I had no switch. If I go into Houndoom, it weakens it to the point where I just can't live a hit from Raikou. And getting that pivotal damage off on Raikou before I go down is very pivotal. So I really had only one play, and that was just go for Stone Edge here. As I luckily am able to kill this thing off with a Stone Edge plus Life Orb Recoil. Unfortunately, him missing means that I can't actually kill him. So, unfortunately, I will have to just hope I can take another Hurricane or miss it again and be at a very... If he just missed again, that would have been very fortunate for me, because that would have been at such a high point of health. As he's going to hit the Hurricane, you get a very, very high roll. Timid, like, I should show the calc, but my investment with AV meant that the max he could have done is 99.2, and he did 97.7, so you got a pretty high roll there. Not that unfortunate. It's actually fortunate for me, because it does allow me to get a free switch into Houndoom, and if he goes Aggron, then I basically just win from there. I couldn't go Noivern, because, you know, if I go Noivern and he goes... Honestly, Noivern was just never the play, because if he goes Aggron, can't kill it with anything but Flamethrower, and then if he goes... or which I don't have... and if he goes into Raikou, I can't kill it with anything. No, I can't kill it with anything, and he just kills me with HP Ice. So I basically am forced to go Houndoom here. I think if I were him, I would have gone Raikou first, because if he had gone Raikou first, I would have put it in a point where it would have died to a flamethrower, but I don't think I could have killed Aggron from the point of health it was at. But this will allow me to just basically just click flamethrower because he can't switch out. He's forced to switch in because if he takes damage on Raikou, then he just dies to a flamethrower. Which is why I think that Draco miss really kind of played a pivotal part. Draco plus flamethrower at this point would have killed, and I would have just been able to win. Or just clean. Or yeah, so I'm basically forced to flamethrower here, and he stays in with Aggron because he can't switch in if he wants to potentially win. I don't think there's any way he can win unless I like go for Draco. It's my only form of way to kill him at the point of health he would be at, but I have Dragon Pulse luckily, so I can just go for I'm gonna go for Debon here because I wanted Houndoom to get the kill. He's gonna go for Thunderbolt. I could have gotten Para there. I think the only way he could have won is being Para full Para. But I'm going to Debon here. Didn't know if I was faster or not, but he's going to go for Quick Attack. Unfortunately, not giving Houndoom the kill that I want. And I'm going to go for Flamethrower. Not be able to kill, but it will put it in range of Dragon Pulse. And that will be the game because he's going to go for Thunderbolt. And I can just go to Noivern and a Revenge Coat with Dragon Pulse. So I'm actually just going to skip it because he's going to go for Quick Attack. As I go for Dragon Pulse and finish out the game. So, in retrospect, I think there was a little bit of hacks on both sides. Not too severe, but the Hurricane Miss definitely sucks for my opponent. If he had killed me there, he basically just won because I really could not finish off the Torn. Flamethrower would have done a lot, but I think he probably had like Superpower or something, or some kind of way to hit Mega Houndoom. And I think it definitely mattered a lot, but I also think the Draco miss mattered a lot, and the crit as well on Raikou, putting me at a very, very low point of health, which is kind of unfortunate for me because it was, I don't know, I think that was, I actually think it was actually better in my favor because it meant that I wouldn't stay in against the Raikou because I would have died to another one most likely, so I think it was actually better in my favor. It was kind of my way of forcing me out. So I think I played this match pretty well. I made a few misplays, but I definitely think something like Stone Edge on Chestnut was really not a fault of mine. I think it was just really good prep on my opponent's part and a good play. I think my opponent played very, very well and did what he tried to win, but I think in the end it came down to making certain predictions and getting a little bit of hacks, and it just kind of turned out in my favor. I didn't miss Stone Edge. I think he made a good play knowing he go for Superpower. If I had just gone for Horn Leech again, that would have definitely, I don't know if it would have secured it. I think I definitely may have been able to 2-go with Horn Leech. I don't know. If I just clicked Stone Edge there, I just didn't want him going for Heavy Slam and just winning the game there. So I think it was definitely my best play to make at that point. And I think it just made overall the plays I needed to win. I think I just know the way Sullry plays. I think it just is very good against the way I play, so it's just kind of a very coherent way of playing, so I think I understand it very well. Patterns are very easy to kind of find, so this team was very pattern. I just could find the pattern pretty well, having Palossand, knowing Palossand coming, and not having Hydreigon in his Darm was very, very nice to have because it lost a lot of pressure on a lot of my Mons. So anyway, guys, that is going to be the video. If you did enjoy, please like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see all of you guys in the next video. See you guys.